We've already heard a little bit about the TD Financial Group. They've completed an inventory for all of their facilities. They've initiated a number of carbon management projects, including even developing protocols that not-for-profits can use to generate offsets, which TD then buys. So they call those an innovative way of making social investments. So rather than giving money to a not-for-profit to provide low-income housing, they'll provide a protocol that helps that not-for-profit quantify offsets by using best-in-class, energy-efficient dwellings. And so they're doing those sorts of things. They're working with forestry companies or again, a not-for-profit to generate offsets from planting trees, and doing that in a way that is much more expensive. Offsets sell in Alberta for $12 a ton, whereas some of these so-called social investments, that the offsets are being bought for substantially more money than that. So then that also fits into some of their own initiatives. They're using developing ways to ensure that they're quantifying energy efficiency accurately. It sounds pretty simple. You know, what was my electrical bill last year? What's it this year? The difference is my reduction. Well, there's changing elements in the building, in the environment. So the power bill this year may reflect only a change in temperature or weather patterns, even short-term ones. Or it might reflect changes in tenancy patterns, or even something as simple as the number of computers in a building. So all of that needs to be built into quantification scheme, and they're doing those kinds of things. So they have announced now that they've achieved a carbon neutral goal. I think that means they've sourced through these innovative processes, through their protocol development and protocol implementation. They've and these offsets are voluntary offsets. They're not the ones that Dean talked about this morning. So they're making their own internal reductions, and they're purchasing offsets. So a big driver for them is their brand. They want to be leading as or be seen to be leaders in this space. They want to be seen to be sustainable, and then that connects into the drivers that Graham showed earlier today, the financial issues of branding, of green products, all of those kinds of things that they want to pursue as opportunities for themselves. Similarly, again, not regulated, a large commercial property manager, a publicly traded company, so expecting to be more and more constrained in terms of disclosure rules with respect to climate and greenhouse gases. Again, they've completed an inventory, again, of all gases. Normally, that means CO2 and methane and a bit of N2O, but in real estate, there's also potential for release of refrigerants, and those so-called F gases are often used in that application. So their inventory, more than 80 sites. TD Bank is also, they have an inventory for each ATM machine. So there's a lot of sites, and in this case, they've got this company has about 74 million square feet of space in Canada and the U.S. And what motivates them is people who rent space in the buildings coming to them and saying, we're being asked what our footprint is, but we're not getting a bill for our electricity use. We're in a mall, or we're in a really big building, and we're not separately metered. So we want that information, and we want it hourly. So they're being asked to provide that kind of information. So it may be that they'll build that into their lease at some point. So an opportunity for them is not just to collect this information, but provide an actual service to their tenants, where they provide the greenhouse gas reporting service to them. And so they'll use, as they gather this more and more of this data and develop along their management plan, they'll be investing in energy efficiency much more intelligently. They'll be reducing their own operational and management maintenance costs. And then they can be just striving for energy efficiency designations such as LEED, and they'll be able to provide performance management information and maybe even services to their clients.